Hey y'all, welcome back to Leslie's Mature Makeup and Beauty. Today we've got another full face of, as you can see by the title. There's a couple of these things that I have used. I've been testing out the foundation, so I would have some thoughts to give y'all. Hopefully this microphone doesn't act up today. I don't know what it still was in the first part of my last video. Could be that I let my 2-year-old grandson play with it. But yeah, we're just going to get started. I have not used the eyeshadow palette yet. I'm going to come in kind of close so y'all can see what my skin looks like. I do have on my skincare and my SPF, of course. I mixed a little bit of my Elta MD with my Australian Gold to kind of give me a more, kind of natural looking finish. And I do have a little spot here where my granddaughter scratched me. She's 5 months old, so she was just trying to grab my face and love on me. So it's going to look a little crusty there probably no matter what we do, but that's kind of where we're starting. And I didn't get an eye primer, but I grabbed this Wonder Cloud All Day Wear liquid. Well, it says All Day Wear Soft Shadow, and it's supposed to be infused with a primer. So I thought we would put a little swipe of this on and see if that'll work, kind of like an eye primer. Give us a little base. You can see it does give a little bit of color, but not much. But that's probably just this shade. It's Foggy Beige. It feels really soft and silky. It actually feels a lot like applying an eye primer. Trying to make sure I feel like I may have gotten a little bit more on this other eye. If that wears well, that would actually be a pretty, just one and done type of shadow. And while that sets down, I'm going to apply a little bit of primer. I picked up the Stay Matte primer. I'm only going to put this on one side of my face because I feel like the last time that I used this, that it made the foundation look a little cakey in places. And I'm not sure that it actually, the foundation wore good for me without a primer. After about 8 hours, it started to break up a little bit. And then there was, I want to say one day after about 4 hours, I had a little bit of oil break through. And I think it's about 10 in the morning now, so we will, it's a nice bright sunny day, so we'll go outside and look at everything in natural light when we get done, and then I'll check in after a few hours. Just a white, and I'm just going to take a little bit and apply this to the left side of my face, and it claims to control shine, minimize pores, a hydrating feel, and smooth the skin. We'll try to just get half of the nose. And the days that this foundation has broke down it's really been around my nose, but I have also been a little sinusy. So, it could have been from me blowing my nose and I just didn't realize that I was rubbing off my foundation. That shadow what we're using for our primer has dried down. And it feels, nice and soft. It doesn't feel sticky or tacky. But I did pick up this little mini power palette, and it actually says it's an eye, lip, and cheek palette. This was the little Wonder Cloud shadow, retailed for $9.49. I had lots of coupons. The Stay Matte primer was $6.79. This little eye palette was actually $9.99, but these four are eyeshadows. This, they say, is a lip and cheek topper, and then this is a highlighter. I think probably for my skin tone, that may be a little too dark for a highlighter, but I've got a little highlighter that we're going to try too, so let's just go in. Just going to take a fluffy crease brush. This is from Real Techniques. I'm going to go into this lightest matte shade here, and it looks like there's two mattes and two shimmers on the eyeshadow side. One of them looks a little shimmery than the other. We'll add some of this up here in our crease. This shade is probably a little bit lighter than that primer base that we put down. A little bit of kick up in the pan. I think that did add a little color, even though our base had some color. But I actually think this little Wonder Cloud thing would be nice to just put all over the lid or all over the eye to just kind of cancel out any discoloration. And then I want a smaller flat brush. I'm going to go in with this deepest shade here. It's just a brown, but it almost looks like it's got maybe a little bit of a rosy undertone. I'm just going to take a flat, semi-fluffy brush and start placing that out here in the outer corner. I was going to pick up one of their longer palettes, but when I was in store, they didn't have the color story that I wanted. And then when I was online, I saw this little guy, and I thought, oh, well, let's just try that little cutie. I think that's got nice pigmentation to it. And I'm going to take a little bit just on the tip of this brush and just drag a little into my actual crease, kind of per my usual, just to give us a little dimension there. I know everything we've done lately has just been kind of neutral, but you know, it just sucks me in. And then we'll do a little shimmer. I'm going to take this lighter colored shimmer, I think. Let's swatch them. This one's a little more satiny. That's this deeper shimmer here. And then this is that lighter colored shimmer. Let's look at this highlight shade. And that's that highlight shade. I think I actually... yeah, we'll go with this lighter colored shimmer here. we'll start with a brush and see what that does, and then maybe apply with our finger depending. That's actually going on pretty good with a brush. It actually applied pretty well with the brush. Now I'm going to take the brush that we use for that outer corner shade and just, I didn't put anything on it, just kind of merging those together. Pretty good so far. I'm almost tempted to take a little bit of this other shimmer on the outer corner and just see what that looks like over this shade. Who says we can't have shimmer everywhere? So far, so good. And I did not pick up a concealer because I've got a couple of concealers that I really love. So for a foundation, this is their new 25-hour lasting finish foundation. It only comes in like 15 shades. It retails for $7.99. I picked up the shade, and it does have some SPF in it, like an SPF 20, which, you know, is not enough for nothing for real. But I got the shade Cool Beige, I think. No, Classic Beige. But it does appear to have a bit of a cooler undertone. I'm just going to take one pump. You can see it's a little bit of a thicker consistency. It is supposed to be full coverage. And y'all know I normally like to apply my foundation with my Stands Out sponge, but I'm going to do the side without a primer. I'm going to use a brush, and then the other side will use my sponge. I'm just looking for something to dust away some of this. I did get just a little bit of fallout, but not much. I say not much. It's pretty shimmery right in this area. It's gonna be fine. We're just gonna go with it. And I'm gonna just do some little dots. And then I'm gonna take my BK 101 and just start working this in over here. I like the finish on this. I think it says it has a matte finish, but I find it not super matte. And the only time I had any issue with any kind of anything looking cakey or anything was when I used that primer. And it could have just been that I used too much of the primer. And I'm just taking it all the way under the eyes since I didn't pick up a concealer. And I feel like it's more of a medium coverage because you can see nothing, probably half of a pump. You know, you can still see my freckles and stuff coming through, which I don't mind. But I feel like even with the brush, it gives me more of a medium coverage. We'll take what's left here. And I'm going to use my Stands Out sponge. It blends in easy. And I did wear it. There was a day I did 10 hours. And really after that 8-hour mark, I felt like it started to break up a little bit, you know, kind of around my nose. And I did look up some reviews today before I sat down to film, and it's got, I think, like 4.2 stars. But I've been liking it. I think it doesn't emphasize my texture. And it gives has a nice finish. Of course, what you do underneath is going to affect your overall finish at the end of the day. And you can see I didn't quite use all of that. This is our sponge side and this is our brush side, and I did do the primer on this side, and it does look a little bit less shiny kind of in this area. And there I've just tapped over that with my sponge. Well, habit. But I think finish-wise, it's kind of a, you know, more natural finish, and it, like I said, it doesn't really emphasize my pores or texture. You know, I mean, I have that stuff, so you can still see it. It doesn't cover it up, but overall, I've been enjoying it. I think we need to take a little fluffy brush and blend those edges there. And I did pick up their Stay Matte Powder, but I've got some. I was trying to decide what to use because I picked up, they have some jelly. They had a jelly blush, bronzer, and highlight. But then I also picked up one of their maxi blushes and their natural bronzer. This bronzer looks a little bit shiny, so I may try, it's got a little bit of a radiant finish to it. I'll show you. That natural bronzer, you can see it's got a bit of, I like a matte bronzer, so I think I'm going to take this jelly bronzer. And we'll try it out. And this actually is more the consistency of jelly. You can see when I turn it upside down or sideways, it doesn't, I mean, it moves a little bit, but it's not like those jelly shadows from ColourPop that are like super liquidy. I'm going to brush these brows up right quick. I did not pick up anything for brows from them. Just going to go in with my e.l.f. brow lift. I'm kind of scared of this bronzer. I feel like I did a half-tail job blending. I think what I'm going to do is take my e.l.f. It's a buffing foundation brush. And I think what I'm going to do, I'm just going to dip it into the bronzer, work it into the back of my hand. I did clean my hand off. And then we'll see what this does. It almost feels like, or kind of looks like pudding. Oh, I hope this isn't too warm. Looks a little bit on the warm side. Let's just... I'm just really lightly patting and tapping. I'm going to take just a little bit more for the forehead. It doesn't seem like it's picking up the foundation, which is good. It's a little bit warm, but not, I don't think it's too bad. Didn't pick up the foundation. And it feels like it's dried down on my hand, like it's not tacky or sticky, but it's kind of got a little bit of a shiny, you know, kind of a dewy looking finish to it. We'll see how that wears. And then the jelly blush looks super purple. I think this is the shade Berry Bounce. And I think we'll do the same thing. I'm going to clean my hand off here so we got a fresh spot to put it. And I'm going to use my e.l.f. Putty Primer Applicator, which is, you know, kind of my favorite brush for blushes, cream blushes. And I'm going to do the same thing. I'm just going to dip my brush in a little bit. And this has the same, kind of the same texture. Just working it into the back of my hand, into the brush, and then we'll pat that on the cheeks. Okay, that's not as scary as I thought. I think I like that. I'll do a little more. This looks like it has a bit of a sheen too on the back of my hand. Yeah, that's actually got a little bit of a kind of a dewy sheen to it. Yeah, look at that on my hand. It's definitely got a sheen to it. But you know what? I'm not mad at it. I almost feel like we don't really need a highlight, but you know what? We're going to do some anyway. So far, I like those. Shall we try this highlight in this little palette? Let's give her a rub. It looks pretty gold. So I'm going to try this jelly highlight. And this is the shade Candy Queen. They have a champagne colored one, but it was sold out. And this one retails for, and you know, I'll link everything, $10.99. The blush was $9.99, and then the bronzer and the highlight were both $10.99. And you can see the difference in the components. But that blush, I used a very tiny amount. I think with this one, I may just dab my finger in. I think that does look a little bit glittery, maybe. But you can see I barely touched it, but it's definitely showing up. And I'm going to take a clean side of my Stands Out sponge and just pat over that just to make sure it's pressed in good and blended well. So far, I'm liking everything. Definitely not the best blending job on the old eyes. So let's finish off our eyes now that we've got our cheeks on. And I did pick up one of their Scandalize eyeliners, supposed to be up to 24-hour wear, waterproof gel pencil, and I picked up the shade 03 Brown. Ooh, it's really creamy. And it almost looks, yeah, it's a little bit almost like metallic-y. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a line super tight to my lash line. Just a small, thin line. That's a super creamy pencil. And then I'm going to take a little angled brush and just smudge that out. it does seem to give you a minute to work with it. We'll do the same thing on the other eye. And I'm just tucking that, I don't know if y'all can tell, just tucking right close to the lash line. You know, I don't have a ton of lid space, so I don't want to take up a bunch of it with eyeliner. That's why a lot of times I'll just skip liner altogether. And smudge it out. And I'm writing all over myself. And I know you're not supposed to tug on your eyes, but I can't not. And when I get to the edge, I kind of try to flick up a little bit. And I think, let's take a little on the waterline and just see how this wears. It's almost a little coppery. Yeah, it's definitely got a little bit of a coppery twist to it, but I don't mind that. And I think I'm going to take this deeper satiny shade and we'll run that under the lower lash line too. Just using my little pencil brush. We'll go a little smoky today. And I'm going to clean that off on my Sigma switch, and I'm going to take a little bit of that lighter colored shimmer and do a little inner corner highlight to brighten that up a little bit. This shade definitely comes off lighter like on the eye than it looks in the pan, because you know this looks a little deeper in the pan than it does on the eye. And now we will try their mascara. I picked up, they had a ton of different mascaras, but the brush on this one looked quite interesting. This is their, everything is messy here, Scandalize Wow Wings. And the brush is what, well, purple packaging for one, but It's got a weird brush. I don't know. You see how it's kind of got longer bristles towards the inside of the brush? And then, you know, the bottom, it's a silicone wand, but I don't know, it just looked pretty interesting to me. And this I think was like $7.50 somewhere. Yeah, $7.49. So let me comb these out again. And we'll put this on and see. I saw that Essence has a new mascara that's got like a double-sided wand. Like one side looks like it's silicone. Comes through the lashes nicely. And then the other side looks like a standard, you know, kind of boar bristle wand. So I want to try that. So that's just one light coat. This brush really grabs the lashes and combs through them nicely. So that's one coat on each eye. And we'll go for two. Quite interesting. I probably should have curled these. I've got tons of rogue lashes. So that's two coats. It's a pretty dry feeling formula. Let's see what happens if we go in with the back side of this one, because I just used that kind of wingy side. I feel like you definitely get more product with the back side of this, the non kind of wingy side. Little bit on the clumpy side. We probably should have stopped at two coats. Let me put a little on the bottom lashes here. I'm really going to rake this wand off because I just want a tiny bit on the bottom. It's a little bit on the clumpy side, but that's basically 3 coats. I think it definitely built up pretty good. Like I said, just a little on the clumpy side. But we'll see how that wears. And for lips, I actually picked up 2 different lip pencils and a lipstick and a lip gloss. And we may actually, because I am a little bit shiny on my nose, I picked up their famous Stay Matte powder. We may dust a little bit of that on here in a minute. But I picked up one of their Lasting Finish 1000 Kisses lip pencils. This is the shade Indian Pink. and it's much pinker than the tube led me to believe. And then I picked up one of their, and this one is just a standard wooden pencil, the 1000 Kisses. And then the other one is their Lasting Finish Exaggerate Automatic Lip Liner. And I got the shade Mauve Spell. And that's this one here, which is probably what we'll end up going with. And it's more of a slanted, kind of a slanted tip lip liner that kind of seems to be what a lot of people are doing. And then somehow I've got crap all over me. Oh, I think it's that bronzer. I think I got that bronzer all under my nails. And then for lipstick, I grabbed one of their Lasting Finish matte lipsticks. This is the shade 220 Mauve Bliss. And it's kind of an interesting shape. You see it's kind of teardrop shaped. And that's what that shade looks like. So I think we'll probably do these two together. And then I grabbed a gloss. This is their Stay Plumped gloss. It's really cute packaging. It's kind of got a, I don't know if you can tell, kind of a twisty design. Let me wipe this lip balm off here. And I have not used either of these lip products yet. It's a little bit of a drier formula on that one. And I kind of have a hard time with these slanted tips. Like it goes pretty well on the top, but then when I do the bottom, I kind of struggle a little bit. Excuse me. So now we'll go in with the lipstick. I like the shape of that. Like it's kind of got a little bit of a curve to it too, so it kind of hugs your lips nicely. It feels pretty creamy going on for a matte formula. Those do seem to exaggerate my lip lines just a little bit. But I'm going to leave that sit in a second and we'll dust on a little bit of this Stay Matte powder. I got just the transparent. I'm just going to go with a big fluffy brush and just kind of do the T-zone. Let's try it with a little powder poof. Really been liking these little, it was like $7 or $8 for like a whole big pack of these guys. I've been liking them. It's going to take a little bit on that and kind of press it in so that it really gets in there. Definitely takes down the shine. But not the most blurring powder I've ever used, but I think it took our shine down a bit. And then let's try this setting spray. This is their Stay Matte Fix and Go. It says it's a 2-in-1 primer and setting spray. It's supposed to have shine control, locks in the makeup, quick dry, and oil free. The smell reminds me of something. It doesn't smell bad. Then I'm going to take a clean side of my sponge and just kind of press over that. I definitely got a good bit of fallout from that shadow, but it's okay. It's actually a pretty comfortable lip formula. Ooh, this is getting long. I hope y'all brought a snack. So let's try a little bit of the gloss. Since I've got this darker lip on, and this is a, you know, kind of clear. It looks a little glittery. I'm just going to take it on my finger. I just stuck that right to the end of my nose. It's got a little bit of a sweet peppermint smell. Maybe just a wee bit tingly on the lips. Alright, so we'll go, you know, this is our finished look in here, but we'll go outside in the bright sun and we'll take a look at everything. So I'll see you on a second. Right, so this is just kind of indirect natural light. You know, I'm underneath the awning of the porch, so I'm going to step out here in the bright sun. As usual, I will try not to squint, but I make no grand promises, so we'll give y'all a good look at everything in super bright sunshine. I thank y'all so much for watching, and I'll see you in a little bit for a check-in. Hey y'all, we're about 6 hours in. I've been outside doing some work, but I've got a touch of a headache, and I'm just ready to take a bath and eat some supper and be done for the day. But I thought I'd let y'all take a look. Everything's held up pretty well. I have blowed my nose a few times today. I'm a little bit sinusy. The eyeshadow has held on well. I have not reapplied the lipstick. You can kind of see where it's worn off a little bit weird, but you know, I've ate and drank and all that stuff all day, so, and I have gotten a solid 8 hours out of this foundation. It does claim to be transfer proof, which I don't find it to be completely transfer proof. It does transfer a little bit on my phone, like if I'm talking on the phone or something. Looks like we're still hanging on to a little bit of blush. Obviously my forehead, I've had a hat on all day, so anything missing from there is just, you know, from my hat, but the mascara so far has not smudged or flaked or anything, and I will keep using this stuff. Like I said, I've been pretty pleased with this foundation. Do I think it's like the best foundation ever? No, but it's not terrible. It gives you a good 8 hours, but I'll keep trying everything and, you know, update you guys at the end of February. I'm going to kind of lump together January and February favorites and fails. So I thank y'all so much for watching. And I appreciate everybody that does watch. If you've made it this far, hats off to you. If you don't mind, give the video a thumbs up. Leave me a comment. That always helps. And I'll see y'all in the next one. Bye, y'all.